Hey, good day to you. Sam Nelson coming to you live from Precious World Mobile Studios. Just out checking out a couple of things here, but I wanted to make a quick video talking about real estate wholesaling and the two areas that you're always are subject to be attacked when you're trying to sell a property. Uh, if you have never done your first deal, or even your second deal, and you've been struggling trying to get that deal, and it's very, very tough. I'm gonna tell you, it's tough to do it without a mentor, tough to do it without a partner that you're working with. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I know of very, very, very rare occasions that they are done and done in a timely manner. I know it took me 10 months to get my first deal. I did it with a partner. So in part, I'm making this video because I want to open up an opportunity that if you need mentorship, you need someone to kind of hold your hand through it, that I want to be able to avail myself for you. Obviously, you can subscribe or like or, all the social media stuff, DM me, PM me, whatever those fancy letters are, reach out to me. And if you want some help, I'll see what I can do for you to help you get to your first deal. I know there are a lot of these gurus that's pushing these 20, 30, 40, $50,000 seminars. They always get their money up front, whether you get a deal or not. They got their money up front, so they're good, whether you're successful or not. And they already have the stats that 95% of the folks that attend those seminars don't do anything, and then maybe 3% might get lucky, and every now and then a squirrel catches a nut. But for the most part, maybe 1 to 2% of those folks do anything, and I can guarantee you they're doing something because they did some additional things other than the seminar. And in part, chances are they probably got some type of mentorship or partner that helped them. So this is my virtual way of being a partner to you. I've done maybe a little north of 100 transactions in the last just around 4 years, maybe coming up on 5. I started in 2015, so full time. So just wanted to kind of share some of my experiences. My mentor is now telling me to reach one, teach one, as part of trying to help others as just as much as I've gotten help in the past as well. So with that being said, I want to kind of talk to you about the two areas that when you're trying to do a transaction and you're trying to present a property to one of your buyers, the two areas that are subject to attack. And when I say subject to attack, it's just that. It doesn't necessarily mean that the attack is accurate or true or correct. It just means that these two areas are always debatable, and sometimes you could be wrong, and sometimes you're not right. You're wrong. It's just that they're always going to debate it or negotiate it from their side of the spectrum. Okay, the first area that is subject to attack, the subject to scrutiny, subject to being challenged, is the ARV, the after repair value. Now, that particular number, I'm going to tell you, is first of all, it's purely subjective. There's nothing that says an ARV is an accurate or actual ARV. It's purely subjective, but it is supported by a number of what I call key performance indicators or metrics that are out there about the trends and other comps and things of that nature. So you want to be mindful that it is more of an opinion, but it's a good solid opinion. And then if it's a seasoned investor, it's a pretty comfortable opinion. But I would tell you that ARVs and after repair values are always subject to scrutiny, whether it's on your end saying that it's worth X amount, or if it's on their end saying that they believe it's worth X amount. Oftentimes your end as the seller is going to be higher than what they're saying as a buyer their end is going to be. Does that mean that you're wrong, or does that mean that they're wrong? Not necessarily. It could, depending on how much homework you've done and what evidence you have to support what you're doing. and what strategy you're employing to say that's the ARV. And then it could be that they're wrong, and not necessarily they're wrong, but they're just trying to negotiate you to be a little bit lower in your numbers to sell. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's accurate or true, and it's not necessarily wrong with them, because chances are they're going to have some data as well to say that, well, their ARV is this, because you can always skew the comps to, you can pick out the comps that best support your side. And that's typically what happens, sort of like the courtroom. There's always a plaintiff and a defense. Same case, but they're on both sides of the fence. So that ARV is always subject to being challenged. I will caution you that if you are one that is continuing to use sources to support your ARV, like Zillows and Zestimates and these so-called guesstimations, that's really what they are, in these type of, Redfins and Zillows and Zestimates and all of those types of sites. And if that's what you're using as an ARV, then you are definitely subject to attack, because most cases those numbers are wrong anyway. Those numbers are macro, they're not specific, they're based off of a number of algorithms and things of this nature. Generally speaking, they're put out there to make a homeowner that has nothing to do and have no knowledge about this business, make them feel a little bit better about what they got, generally speaking. Your true ARV comes from MLS comps. MLS comps are not public information. MLS comps, you have to be able to have subscribed to it in some way or form, primarily because of being a licensed real estate agent or a holder. However, there are actual programs out there that you can buy that might help provide MLS data as well. But long story short, the best way to measure ARV and get an idea what an ARV will be from actual MLS comps. So if you have a real estate agent that's part of your power team that doesn't mind providing you information like that, that would be the best way to get it. Now, I would also coach you on how to get the real estate agent to give you the information, because sometimes you get these arrogant, think they know it all agents as well, that only wants to give you what they think they want to give you. And it's just, I just prefer to look at all the data that's out there and let me come up with my best conclusion on my own. I don't need you to do that work for me. So ARVs are always subject to attack, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong, but chances are if you're using the Zillow and the estimates and those types of things, you probably are. Chances are, and not only that, that could also affect your credibility to actually get repeat business or even any business with investors that are actually paying and buying, and you're using their hard-earned cash to buy these properties. It can really affect your credibility and your integrity on the street. They see your name come across, they know not to do business with you because your numbers are always inflated. Number one. The other area that is always subject to scrutiny is the repair cost. The repair cost. Yes, there's all kinds of formulas where you can kind of figure out repair costs. Generally speaking, you can do the light repair $10 a square foot, medium repair $20 a square foot, heavy repair $30 a square foot, but that's not totally accurate either, because different markets have different repair costs, for one, per square footage. For two, different investors have different resources for repairs as well. We can have one property that needs X amount of work done, and one investor has resources that allows him to get, or her, to get product at a much decent price because he buys in bulk. He does a lot of business with a lot of, with a lot of his vendors, and he has a lot of property, so he's buying things in bulk, and so he gets a much better discounted rate. maybe the GC that's working for him works for him full time and is on staff, so he's getting a better salary because it's consistent. And long story short, for an investor like that, the cost of repair for that person would be less expensive than, say, another person who has to hire an on-the-spot investor who goes to, say, the Home Depots and the Lowe's or the Dillards and the Millards Minyards to buy their materials, and they're going to be paying a little bit higher of a cost. Same property, same amount of repairs, but just the two different investors have two different repair costs. Not only that, the type of repairs that are necessary. If you're doing repairs for a rental, it's one number. If you're doing repairs as a retail, flip to a retail buyer, is a different number. Some investors have what they might consider their brand, where every property that they do has their own personal branded stamp to it, and because of that, it costs X amount of dollars for them to do that, and so their repair costs would be different. And long story short is the repair cost is always subject to be scrutinized. I have found, for me, as a best practice, not to necessarily put out repair costs on a property because of that. I don't want to get in debates and heavy negotiations with those that are wanting to buy. And typically, those that are wanting to buy and they're serious and they got cash on, they're going to do their own estimates anyway. And if it works for them, it works for them. If it doesn't work for them, it doesn't work for them. Plain and simple. And I might share some major items that I've seen, like if, this property ARV is X amount. You can do your own due diligence on the repairs. However, we definitely know the foundation needs attention in this property, or the HVAC is out. Some of the major big projects, I would kind of call those out right away, just to let them know that, hey, I'm actually being transparent, but it's still going to be your responsibility to identify if this is something that you can handle with regards to the numbers. But they're going to always, that repair number, if you put that out there, it's always going to be an area that can be challenged. Nothing wrong with being challenged, as long as you can back it up. And again, even if you've gotten evidence to support your theory, it's going to really still be up to the buyer and what they're going for, what they're trying to do, to see if they're going to accept your evidence or if they have their own. So my thoughts to you is, one, don't be discouraged if someone's challenging you on the ARV or on the repair costs. ARVs and repair costs are subjective and could vary, and will always be presented from the side of that business interest. I will also say, though, if your ARVs are always being challenged, it's probably because you're not getting it from an accurate source, which my guess would be you're probably just going online looking at Zillow and you don't have accurate MLS data. So if that's the case, then yes, you're going to have a problem with putting out ARVs, and you're also going to have a problem because you continue to put out challenging or wrong or inaccurate or very questionable information. Your brand is never going to get any traction. You'll never get your first deal, and they may even peg you as a rookie, or they may peg you as someone trying to screw people and rip them off or whatever. So I want to let you know that's an area. And then from a repair area, I personally do not get into the weeds about what the repair cost would be. I would have an ideal, and if we get in some conversation with one another, I might give them my thoughts, but I would also let them know that, for me, I have my own resources, so this is where my thoughts are coming in from. But, based off of what you can do it and what you plan to do with the property, either this is going to work for you or not going to work for you. I would tell you, serious buyers, don't get into a heavy debate with you on it. I've done, like I said, a little north of 100 transactions, Serious buyers don't get into a whole lot of heavy debate. If they're comfortable with the ARV, or if they might see something in the ARV that maybe they haven't even told you, but they already have in their mind, but they can get in there and look at the repair situation and feel like it's something that it fits what they're doing, it won't even necessarily be a question. They still may want to negotiate the numbers a little bit, and it shouldn't be too far off of what you're doing. But, it makes a difference if you're, trying to get a $3,000 or $5,000, type of wholesale fee. It makes a difference, depending on how far off they're going. But, you can still have competent and reasonable, rational negotiation. So I would say don't be discouraged just because they're challenging those numbers. Don't be discouraged unless, and you're hearing it from me, that you're getting your information from a bad source. If you're getting bad information, bad source, then yeah, be discouraged, because you're putting out bad information. You kind of deserve to get beat down. Nobody wants to do business with someone that they can't necessarily trust what they're getting from. You don't want to go to a store and they're telling you it's one price and then you get there and it's a different price. Nobody wants to do business that way. So real estate's no different. If you're putting something out there, you need to be able to stand by it, and the information's wrong, you need to know how to get it right. And so if you're putting out bad ARVs, and you're getting it from sources like that, then I'm gonna tell you you're probably wrong. But for the most part, if you actually have MLS comps and you're able to get to a comfortable ARV, then I would say stand by it. Don't let them beat you down on that. By the way, if you haven't gotten your first deal, you're having challenges, you don't have resources, feel free to reach out to me. I can vet out any property in the country for the most part. I'll just need the address, and we can kind of talk about the information that I can provide for you to kind of help you out. We can come up with some kind of arrangement or whatnot. But I definitely want to be the man in the wilderness that is actually saying, I can help you. I can help you get your first deal, because these seminars are not designed to do that. They never give you the golden nuggets, but they get their money up front. They get their money up front, but they never give you the golden nuggets. You need a mentor. So if you're interested in just having a relationship with me, and you believe I'm putting out some great information that can really help you out, and I mean, you can see me, I'm not a guru. Don't claim to be a guru. Not trying to be a guru. I mean, my experience is my experience, but and I have some things I can share, but I'm not trying to be a guru. I'm not trying to sell you a $20, $30, $40, $50,000 course either. I'm not saying that I'm gonna work for you for free. Not saying that either, but I'm gonna do everything that I can to help you the best that I can get to your first deal. Of course, you need to value my time and my efforts, but again, invest in yourself, invest in your business. This is a real estate business. If you're thinking that because you heard you could do real estate without using your own money and credit, theoretically yes, practically no. At the end of the day, real estate, and if you're going to be in it, it's a business. A business requires you to invest in it. You invest in yourself and you invest in your business. You need to understand, if you're trying to do something with nothing, it's basic math. If you don't have nothing to put in the game, there's nothing that's going to be multiplied. So don't be falling for the banana in the tailpipe talking about you can do real estate with no money. I'm going to just tell you, it takes money to get in this game, period. Now, how much? That can vary. It's not going to cost you $20,000 or $50,000 with me to get into the game, that's for sure. So anyway, like some of these seminars are doing. So anyway, those two areas I want to share with you. Feel free to reach out, subscribe, friend me, whatever. And I'm on Facebook. My business name, one of my businesses is Precious World Housing Solutions. It is an LLC that you can Google up. I'm on Facebook as well. Reach out there. Of course, Sam Melson, wherever you're seeing this video at, feel free to DM me, or you can email me at info@preciousworld.net. Info at preciousworld.net. Let me know your name and your contact information and what your needs are, and I'll personally try to reply and see if I can help you solve those needs so you can get your first or even second deal so we can get a trend going. Until then, God bless you. And as I like to say, I see at the top because the bottom sure is crowded. God bless.